Okay, so this is the Herman pass. Now I actually use this pass quite a lot actually, because it's just very, very easy. Unlike the classic pass and the riffle pass, which are extremely hard and take a lot of practice, the Herman pass, it does take practice to sort of get certain elements within, but it's essentially very easy. Now, this is what, well actually, it's originally called, what otherwise known as the turnover pass, because you can take a card like the two of clubs and just turn over a deck and it's on top, and you can even do a face up and it doesn't matter because it's still on top. But personally I don't like turning over the deck like that, but it's a practical application certainly, because yeah, you can have somebody select a card and just turn over the deck and set it down, for example. So as usual, you catch a break above your card, okay? So you want to get to the top of the deck with your little finger. You want to obviously keep any gaps as non-visible, otherwise known as invisible, as possible. You can do that by keeping, you only need like a pinch of your skin in there together. You don't need your full finger in there because that's what's going to create a step. But you can also use your index finger across the front here to cover any steps, and you can use your thumb to place a little pressure down on the top packet. So, as usual, the right hand comes over the cover, or your left hand, you switch hands around depending on which hand you're predominant with. And what's going to happen is, as this hand comes over, your index finger is going to curl under the deck, okay? And this is reversely usual, because normally your fingers go inside to pull the top one around. This time, you're just using your forefinger, this is coming underneath, and you're rolling the bottom half out, okay? Now what normally happens is you roll it out to this point until it just clears this packet, and you should be able to sort of move your hand away, but it's very impractical. You don't need to actually practice doing that. Basically, you just want to do it until it clears, okay? Or near enough. And now what you would normally do is with this other forefinger, although very lightly, you don't want to do it very clear like this, you just turn this packet over with it, okay, and then you can pull it through the hand or whatever the maneuver you need to justify the movement itself. So that's the basic original teaching, okay, of the Herman pass, of the turnover pass, okay. Like this, so it clears, so you got your break, hand comes over like this, so it clears, and then over as you turn over the deck. Now, like I say, I don't really use that original handing very much. I've actually, just personally applied the basic logic of the pass and come up with a lot of personal variations over the years. A couple of which I'll share with you. Okay, now over the years I've come up with a plethora of variations, alternations on on the original movement. I just apply the logic of the original movement and then create various other misdirections or slight movements around it to cover it. And this really is one of the easiest movements to play around with, the easiest pass certainly. Now I'm not gonna teach you every single one that I've ever thought of, because there's a ton, and there's so many subtle ways you can just vary it. So I really think it's sort of unjustified to sort of pretend each one is like this well thought out variation, when really they're just sort of natural adjustments I've made over the years. So I'll give you the basic concept of what I do when I vary. So you've got your break, okay? Come over, you do the pass as normal. Now, as it gets to here, okay, so just passing, this is where you can play around now. You don't have to turn over the deck. That was the original move. You don't have to, well, the original move was you turn over and you put it through the hand or something. Who cares? But this is where you can play around now and create whatever movement you like to justify it. So sometimes what I'll do is like when I don't do the pass, where I'll twist the deck like this. So what I started to do is I shape the pass around that. So I'll just do this, and what's happening there, of course, is as my hand's coming over, I'm doing half the move, and then I'm letting the two brackets meet as I twist. And like I can't remember, Vernon said, a larger action covers a smaller action, and it's basically on that principle, because you would think that the meeting of the decks coming together like this in just such open plain sight would be too big to hide, but it's really about the goal and the timing and the confidence and the other movement that you hide it with. Because if the other movement you hide it with is big enough, then anything that anybody does quite see will just seem justified in that movement, and they won't see it anyway, because I've tried to catch myself doing it, and you can't see it because the larger action covers the smaller action. So I've got my break now, and I come over and I just twist the deck, and I sometimes prefer it over the riffle pass, because it's just so invisible. The only problem is you get this slight clacking of the deck sometimes, which you sometimes can't avoid because you have to be so ballsy with the timing that that's pretty much unavoidable. You can try to be a bit slower and softer, which is absolutely fine as well. But so that's like one variation. I twist the deck as I come in like this. But like I say, I come up with a plethora of other variations. I think in my ambitious card 2 routine, you may have seen me drop the deck on the table. Like I had the card here, and I did this. Like I say, the larger action covers the smaller action of the deck's meeting, so you can just come up with any movement. Start thinking of natural movements that you would normally do anyway with the cards. Start centering the pass around that, and then suddenly you won't have to, doing the pass will be such an easy move for you. Another one I came up with a long time ago, although I think quite a few people have claimed to come up with this. Like I say, it's very easy to mess around with this move, so I wouldn't be surprised if hundreds of people have come up with this before. And I think somebody even called it the fan pass. But for me personally, I came up with this, in my own practice. Basically, what's going to happen is you do half the move, and then as the decks meet, you just do a fan of the deck. So in full speed, it's and obviously face down, of course. Sorry, let me do that again. Face down. It's very hard to spot indeed, and it's the perfect excuse as well for a pass. But like I said, there's so many other ways you could for example, you could tap the deck against your stomach, which I do naturally. That's why I come up with that one as well, because I have naturally done that. And again, they're like so natural. Perfect excuse to move the deck and completely covers the actual movement. So like I said, you can play around with that as long as you get the basic position down, and that, which is just rolling half a packet out. You can have a lot of fun with this pass. And it's a very easy card control and very useful and practical card control as well. So I recommend certainly using this for colour changes as well, because if you look at Ace of Clubs now, and it can be a very beautiful colour change. So just play around with this. So that's the Herman pass, fan pass, shaky, shifty, shafty. Okay, so you've just seen a video for a free tutorial for the Herman pass and some personal variations of my own. Now, like I said, if you go to selling-magic.com, I give you this one for free just to give people an idea of how I teach, how I sound when I'm teaching, the amount of detail that I go into and stuff like this, so you can get a preview of what you may buy if you go to the store. And like I say, I've got tutorials of the holy grail of the passes, the classic pass and the river pass, which are of course much harder. So the tutorials are more in depth, and because they're harder passes to master, of course, and more frequently used. I'd say I use them more frequently. So the riffle pass is probably the greatest card control you can do, I think. Anybody who does buy the riffle pass from there, if you do, if you just leave a review as well, that'd be great, because just that I have genuine interest as well, like how the tutorial comes across, because I really hope that an amateur magician would get genuine help out of it, because like I say, I still am an amateur magician, but I've been doing it a very long time. I just haven't decided to make it a profession yet, and maybe won't ever, but I still care very passionate about it. So I was in like a beginner's position once. Everybody has to start somewhere, so I'm just trying to put myself back into that mindset of what questions did I have, how could I teach you better, how could I teach beginners better, how could I give you the best possible angle on this, the best possible thought on this. So I think the tutorials there are well worth the money, and like I said, I only charge them because I think otherwise people would complain about the fact that I'm giving free exposure of magic, and also, like I say, because I put time into them, so I think that they're hopefully worth something as well. Thank you for watching, and more videos soon. Thanks very much. Bye. I'm actually not waving. I've just got like something. I don't know what this is actually. I've got to go back to I'm on meds currently. I've got bipolar, and I'm on these kind of sedatives actually. So I don't know why they make me do this. Strange, very strange. I'm not actually laughing at either. That's just like this kind of happens. Like okay, I'll stop it. Oh, I don't know when to stop. So that's the problem. That is the problem.